Most beginners learn web development wrong. Not because they're not smart enough, not because web development is too hard, because the way most people start, jumping between tutorials, copying code they don't understand, adding new technologies before mastering the ones they have, creates the illusion of progress while building almost nothing real. If you felt stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure what to learn next, you're not alone. And more importantly, your situation is fixable. Months wasted. Let's learn it right. 3 mistakes that almost every beginner makes, and they compound each other. Tutorial hell. Watching without building. You find a great YouTube series, you complete it, you feel like you learned something. You open a blank VS Code window, you don't know where to start. You find another tutorial. This cycle can last months. Watching tutorials feels productive because you're receiving information, but information without application doesn't stick. Real learning happens when you're stuck and you figure it out, not when you're following along. Learning too many things at once. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Node, Python, SQL, Docker, all open in browser tabs simultaneously. Each new technology feels like it might be the missing piece, but your brain can only build deep understanding of one thing at a time. Jumping between technologies means you're always a beginner in everything and an expert in nothing. Skipping fundamentals to jump to frameworks, learning React before you understand JavaScript, learning Laravel before you understand PHP. You can copy the tutorial, you cannot debug the application when it breaks, you cannot add a feature that wasn't in the tutorial. The framework knowledge has no foundation to attach to. The cost? Months of passive learning with nothing in your portfolio, constant overwhelm from chasing every shiny new tool, fragile knowledge that collapses outside the tutorial, and burnout from working hard but not moving forward. This guide covers 3 things. First, the common mistakes beginners make, tutorial hell, overlearning, skipping fundamentals, and exactly why each one keeps you stuck. Not surface-level advice, the specific mechanism that makes each mistake so damaging. Second, why those mistakes slow you down, the psychology of fake progress, why watching tutorials feels productive but isn't, why adding new technologies before mastering the current ones slows you down instead of speeding you up. Third, a clear step-by-step roadmap, exactly what to learn, in what order, and how to know when you're genuinely ready for the next step. You're in the right place if you're just starting web development, you've been learning for a while but feel stuck, you're unsure what to learn next, you want to get hired or build real projects, or you're using Laravel, React, or any popular framework and feel like you're missing something foundational. The skill gap isn't talent, it's learning strategy. Here's the right order to learn web development. Layer 1. HTML and CSS, structure and style. Build static pages and ship them. Don't move on until you can build a design from scratch without looking anything up. Layer 2. JavaScript, the core language, not a framework, not a library. Variables, functions, loops, DOM manipulation, fetch requests, the concepts that every JavaScript framework is built on. Layer 3. Backend, PHP, Node, or whatever language fits your goals. Server-side code, APIs, databases, how data moves between a browser and a server. Layer 4. Frameworks, Laravel, React, Vue. Now these make sense because you understand what they're abstracting. You can read their source code. You can debug them when they break. Layer 5. Real projects. Build something, ship it. It will break. Fix it. The breaking and fixing cycle is where skills become permanent. The 4 mindset shifts that change everything. Stop watching tutorials, start building from scratch. Stop learning many things, master one at a time. Stop jumping to frameworks, foundations first, and stop fearing breaking things. Breaking and fixing is the curriculum. The complete picture. The wrong way, tutorial after tutorial. Watch, click along, think you know it, open a blank editor, panic. Watch the next tutorial, repeat for months. The problem? Stuck, overwhelmed, unsure. Months pass, nothing ships, portfolio is empty, confidence is low. The right way, foundations to projects to jobs. Learn one thing, build with it, break it, fix it, move to the next. Skills compound, portfolio grows. The roadmap, HTML to JavaScript to backend to frameworks. Each layer's solid before the next. No skipping, no jumping ahead. Clear, honest progress you can actually measure. The golden rule. The skill gap isn't talent, it's learning strategy. Let's fix yours. Web development is learnable, but only in the right order. Stop the tutorial cycle, build something broken, fix it. That's when learning becomes permanent. The problem. How beginners usually learn web development. Here's the honest picture of what most people's first year looks like. They feel productive, they're watching tutorials and reading articles and collecting courses, but 6 months in, they can't build a simple app from scratch. They're busy, they're not improving. The problem isn't effort, it's pattern. 4 specific patterns that feel like learning but produce almost no real skill. Let's name them. Mistake 1. Watching too many tutorials. The beginner finds a great YouTube channel. They watch the first 3 videos, then they find another channel that seems better. Then they discover a Udemy course, then a blog series. They're constantly consuming content, but they're never finishing anything. They're in tutorial hell. Each news source feels like it might be the one that finally makes it click, so they keep consuming. The problem is that watching someone else code is not the same as coding. Information received passively, without struggle, without practice, without building anything, doesn't stick. You might understand it while watching. 3 days later, it's gone. Mistake 2. No clear learning path. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Laravel, Node.js all open in browser tabs simultaneously. Every time a new technology appears in a forum or job posting, it gets added to the list. The beginner is always starting, never finishing. Always a beginner in everything, never intermediate in anything. Context switching between technologies means you never build the depth that makes any of them actually useful. Mistake 3. Not building real projects. Building along with a tutorial is not the same as building. When you follow a tutorial, the hard decisions have already been made for you. What to build, what files to create, what code to write. You're a typist, not a developer. The moment you close the tutorial and open a blank editor, you're lost. You've never had to make a decision. You've never debugged something you wrote yourself. You've never been stuck for 2 hours and then figured it out. That struggle is where skills are born. And real projects, something with actual users or a business problem or a genuine use case, teach you things that a to-do app tutorial never will. Mistake 4. Skipping fundamentals to learn frameworks. Jumping straight to React without understanding JavaScript. Jumping straight to Laravel without understanding PHP and how HTTP works. You can copy the tutorial code, but you cannot debug it when it breaks. You cannot add a feature that wasn't in the tutorial. You cannot explain to an interviewer why your code works. The framework knowledge has nothing solid to attach to. When someone asks you a question outside the tutorial scope, the knowledge collapses. This is shallow knowledge. It works in controlled environments and fails in reality. This approach fails for 4 clear reasons. Passive learning. Watching is not doing. Information received without struggling with the problem doesn't get consolidated into memory. Real skill comes from being stuck and figuring it out, not from watching someone else figure it out smoothly. No problem-solving practice. Tutorials hand you the answer before you've struggled with the question. Real development is almost entirely problem-solving, encountering something broken, figuring out why, and fixing it. Tutorials never train this muscle because they never let you struggle. Real-world experience. Following a tutorial to build a to-do app is not experience, it's rehearsal. Building something that actually runs on the internet with real users and real requirements, that's where you learn what tutorials can't teach. Overwhelming information. The more information you add without a clear structure and a clear measure of progress creates confusion and paralysis. You feel like you should know more before starting, but the knowing more never comes because you're not building. The result is a beginner who is busy all day, consuming content, filling their bookmarks, and not actually improving. 4 patterns that keep beginners stuck, and they compound each other. Tutorial hell. Jump from video to video, never finish, never build. Knowledge stays permanently shallow because it's never tested. No learning path. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Laravel, Node.js, all open in browser tabs simultaneously. Every time a new technology appears in a forum or job posting, it gets added to the list. The beginner is always starting, never finishing. Always a beginner in everything, never intermediate in anything. Context switching between technologies means you never build the depth that makes any of them actually useful. No real projects. Follow tutorials only. Empty portfolio. Can't build anything without guidance because you've never built without guidance. Skipped foundations. React without JavaScript, Laravel without PHP. Works in tutorials, collapses the moment you're outside the tutorial's scope. The three equations that sum it all up. Watching is not equal to building. Information without struggle is not equal to understanding. Motion, staying busy, is not equal to progress, actually growing. The golden rule. You feel busy, you're not improving. Recognize the pattern, then break it. These four patterns compound. Each one makes the others worse. The fix isn't working harder, it's learning in the right order. Steps 1 and 2, core basics, HTML, CSS, and JS in 3 side-by-side cards, plus build small projects with the 4 project examples and the golden rule banner. Steps 3 and 4, Git and GitHub with the command chips, plus pick one stack, front-end, back-end, or full stack comparison table. Steps 5 through 8 as a 4-column card grid, real projects, how web works, deploy, and portfolio, each with its own color and yes rule. The grand summary is all 8 steps as a connected horizontal strip with color-coded cells, 3 rule banners below, and the golden rule footer. The progress bar cycles through all 7 roadmap colors, green to amber to blue to purple to orange to red to teal. Speaking script is in my previous response above. Let me know what comes next in the series. Pro tips. The 4 things most beginners know and ignore. The roadmap tells you what to learn. These tips tell you how to actually learn it. The mindset and daily habits that separate developers who make real progress from ones who stay stuck in the same place for months. Know the tips, ignore the traps. Tip 1. Learn by doing. The 20-80 rule. Most beginners get the ratio backwards. 80% watching tutorials, 20% actually building. It feels efficient. You cover a lot of ground. You understand while watching. You feel productive. But passive consumption doesn't build skill. The correct ratio is the opposite. 20% reading or watching, just enough to understand the concept, and 80% building. Open your editor, make something, break it, fix it. The struggle is the learning. The debugging is the learning. The confusion that forces you to Google and figure it out, that's the learning. If you spend most of your time watching, you're mostly not learning. Tip 2. Break things deliberately. When something breaks, don't panic. Read the error message. It's telling you exactly what's wrong. Google it, understand it. Most beginners treat errors as signs that they're failing. Experienced developers treat errors as the exact moment learning happens. Deliberately change code you don't understand and observe what breaks. That's the fastest way to understand something. Every professional debugs constantly. Debugging is not a sign of failure, it's the actual job. Tip 3. Stay consistent. 1 to 2 hours daily beats marathon sessions. Here's the pattern that doesn't work. Nothing for 2 weeks, then 10 hours on a Saturday, then nothing for 2 weeks, then another binge. The problem isn't the hours, it's the gaps. Skills built without regular practice decay. When you sit down after 2 weeks, you spend the first hour relearning what you forgot. The session that feels productive is mostly recovery. Here's what works. 1 hour every single day. Not when you feel motivated, not when inspiration strikes. Every day. The consistency compounds. Skills don't reset. Each session builds on the last. 1 hour a day for 90 days is 90 hours of uninterrupted progress. That's a transformed developer. Motivation is temporary. Discipline builds developers. 4 tips deeply practical. Learn by doing. 20% reading, 80% building. Every day.
Close the tutorial, open the editor, make something break, fix it. That's the curriculum. Break things. Errors are teachers. When you see red in the console, don't immediately ask for the answer. Sit with it, read it, Google it. The 15 minutes you spend debugging something teaches you more than a 30-minute tutorial on the same topic. Stay consistent, 1 hour daily. Not once a week, not when motivated, every day. 90 days of 1 hour is a completely different developer on the other side. Your own pace. Compare to yesterday's you, not to a senior developer online. Your only competition is who you were yesterday. 4 numbers that define the right approach. 20-80. That's your learn to build ratio. 20% consuming, 80% creating. Invert the way most beginners operate. Errors equal okay. Bugs teach you things tutorials never will. Every error message is a lesson. Read it, understand it, fix it yourself. 1 hour times daily. Not 10 hours once a week, 1 hour every day. The compounding effect over 90 days is transformative. You versus you. Not you versus a senior developer with years of experience, only compare to yesterday. The golden rule. Build more than you watch. Break things on purpose. Show up every day. These 4 tips are simple. They're also the exact things most beginners skip. Apply all 4 and you'll outlearn 90% of beginners who know the same roadmap.
A good learning path. Not 50 tutorials. 1 cycle, repeated. Learn something. Build with it immediately. Move to the next. Repeat. Each iteration makes you stronger. Each cycle ends with something real. That's the entire framework. Here's the contrast. The wrong path. Watch tutorial 1, tutorial 2, tutorial 3, react in 10 hours, still not building anything. 6 months later, 0 projects, 0 portfolio, no real skills to show anyone. The right path. 6 steps. Learn HTML, then immediately build a page from scratch. Learn CSS, then immediately style that page. Add JavaScript, then make it interactive. 6 weeks later, you have a real, deployed, working project. Same total time investment, completely different outcome. Here's what each step looks like in practice. Step 1, HTML, 2 to 3 days until you can write page structure from memory. Step 2, build a personal bio page. No tutorial open. When you get stuck, Google it. That's the point. Step 3, CSS, Flexbox, Grid, Responsive, 3 to 4 days. Step 4, style the page from Step 2. Make it actually look good. Step 5, JavaScript, 1 week. DOM manipulation, events. Step 6, make the page from Steps 2 and 4 interactive. A button that does something, a toggle, something real. Then repeat the cycle with bigger projects, a portfolio site, a to-do app, an API-powered app. Each loop, the skills compound. 3 reasons this works. Immediate application. You learn something and use it within 24 hours. The brain encodes what it uses. Problems reveal gaps. Building exposes exactly what you don't understand, which tells you precisely what to study next. And real output. After 6 steps, you have a project. After watching 50 tutorials, you have nothing. The only rule, if you can't build it without a tutorial open, you don't know it yet. Go back and build more. That's the exit condition for each step. Not, I watched the video. Not, I understand how it works. Can you build it alone? Yes, move to step 2. No, stay at step 1. The cycle memorized. Learn HTML. Build a page, learn CSS, style your page, add JavaScript, then make it interactive. Repeat with bigger projects. 50 tutorials equals 0 projects and 0 real skills. 6-step cycle equals 1 real project and real skills you can demonstrate. Exit condition, build it alone. Then you know it. Repeat the cycle with increasingly complex projects and a portfolio builds itself. The golden rule, learn, build, repeat. Every cycle makes you stronger. If you can't build it without a tutorial, you don't know it yet. Go back and build.
After one cycle, you have a real project. After 5 cycles, you have a portfolio. That's the path from beginner to hired. Final thoughts. Most beginners fail not because web development is hard. The evidence says otherwise. Millions of self-taught developers, many without formal education, have built careers doing this. It's learnable. They fail because they learn it the wrong way. Passive consumption over active building. No clear path. Frameworks before fundamentals. Random sprints instead of daily practice. The secret is simple. Not easy, but simple. 3 things. Not because it's too hard. Millions of self-taught developers prove the contrary. Not because they're not smart. The tutorials are followed perfectly. The problem is they're never applied. Not because they don't work hard. Hours of tutorials every day is effort, but effort in the wrong direction doesn't produce skill. They fail because of method, not ability. Fix the method, and the same person who felt stuck for months becomes job ready in 6. The secret is 3 things. Focus on fundamentals, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, deeply, not surface knowledge. Deep enough that you can build without looking anything up. Deep enough to understand why the framework does what it does. The framework is easy once the foundation is real. If the foundation is weak, the framework knowledge is fragile. Real projects, not tutorial clones, a tool you'd actually use, a problem you've actually had, something a friend or a business actually needs. When it matters, you try harder, debug longer, and learn deeper. Tutorial projects are safe. Real projects are where skills become permanent. Consistent practice. 1 hour every day. Not when you feel like it, every day. The compound effect over 90 days is significant. Skills don't reset between sessions. Each day builds on the last. In 6 months of daily practice, a beginner becomes job ready. It's not mysterious. It's just showing up. Here's the concrete difference between learning the wrong way and the right way. Wrong way. Open a blank editor and panic. Nothing in your portfolio. Can't debug real errors without tutorial support. Always waiting to feel ready before starting. Months pass, nothing ships. You feel busy but not improving. Right way. Open a blank editor and start building. 3 to 5 real deploying projects. Debug confidently. Errors become clues, not walls. Build first, polish later. Job ready in months, not years. What you actually build along the way. Real problem-solving skills that no tutorial gave you. A portfolio that employers notice because it has deployed functional applications. Confidence outside the tutorial environment. Skills that compound every day because you're building every day. Momentum that doesn't stop. The 3 things in full. Fundamentals first. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript deeply, not surface knowledge. Deep enough that you can build without looking anything up. Deep enough to understand why the framework does what it does. The framework is easy once the foundation is real. If the foundation is weak, the framework knowledge is fragile. Real projects, not tutorial clones, a tool you'd actually use. A problem you've actually had, something a friend or a business actually needs. When it matters, you try harder, debug longer, and learn deeper. Tutorial projects are safe. Real projects are where skills become permanent. Consistent practice, 1 hour every day. Not when you feel like it, every day. The compound effect over 90 days is significant. Skills don't reset between sessions. Each day builds on the last. In 6 months of daily practice, a beginner becomes job ready. It's not mysterious, it's just showing up. One action to take right now. Close this slide, open VS Code, and build one small thing from scratch without a tutorial. It will be broken. That's exactly right. Fix it. That's the job. That's the skill. That's how it starts. The complete series. The intro. The problem, how most beginners learn wrong. The roadmap, 8 steps from beginner to job ready. Each step: basics, small projects, Git, one stack, real projects, how the web works, deploy, and portfolio. And the pro tips, the mindset that makes the roadmap work. The formula that runs through every step. Fundamentals first, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, deeply. Not surface knowledge, deep enough that you can build without looking anything up, deep enough to understand why the framework does what it does. The framework is easy once the foundation is real. If the foundation is weak, the framework knowledge is fragile. Real projects, not tutorial clones, a tool you'd actually use, a problem you've actually had, something a friend or a business actually needs. When it matters, you try harder, debug longer, and learn deeper. Tutorial projects are safe. Real projects are where skills become permanent. Consistent practice. 1 hour every day. Not when you feel like it, every day. The compound effect over 90 days is significant. Skills don't reset between sessions. Each day builds on the last. In 6 months of daily practice, a beginner becomes job ready. It's not mysterious, it's just showing up. The closing thought. Most beginners fail not because web development is hard, but because they learn it the wrong way. You now know the right way. You know the mistakes to avoid. You have the roadmap. You have the tips. What's left is the one thing no guide can give you: showing up. Close the tutorial. Open the editor. Build something broken. Fix it. Show up tomorrow. That's how it works.